Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Talks with Todd.
Yeah, what's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to Talks with Todd. I'm your host, Wit Todd. Man, listen, so far, season 4 has been going amazing, man. We on episode 9, and I got a very special guest that I met right here, part of the podcasting family. You know, we met in passing. It was always cool energy. It was always a vibe, man. And then we ended up being blessed enough to work together. So that made it even more fire. So, and listen, this guy, he can cook. And I don't brag about people cooking like that, but he really know how to cook, which is why he goes by the name of Chef Wilson. Welcome, man.
How you doing? Thank you. And, you know, I appreciate all those words. And as you were talking, I said, well, you know, I feel the same way about you.
Thank you, man. I appreciate
Always cool vibes in and outside of the studio.
Yeah, definitely.
Because, you know, we talk.
Yeah, we talk. Jim and I, brother, you know,
yes.
Even better, you know what I'm saying? So we get each other, you know what I mean? Like,
right away.
So it's really dope. But today, man, I want to kick it with you about life after divorce. A lot of men, especially black men, don't really bounce back or even know where to go once they go their separate ways from who they were with. So I wanted you to tap into that, man.
Yes, you know, most definitely, you know, going through that part, I had to, in the beginning, just have accountability. And I know if you watch a lot of shows, I'm big on that.
Yeah.
But if you are a man or a woman, when we're talking about our brothers today, you still have to have accountability that you're about to go through this process. And the accountability part is what you may contribute, because we all contribute something. And if you sit down long enough with yourself and quiet yourself, all the unnecessary noise that's going to come your way from unhealed thoughts from yourself, from family and friends, that's when you can tap into the accountability, and then you're on your journey.
Mm-hmm.
That part right there, but you can't skip this part of the process.
Yeah,
my brothers, you can't. The world and life will probably tell you to be strong, you good. No, you have to have accountability. If not, you're going to end up there again.
Definitely. I totally agree. I definitely agree, man. Now, what steps did you take what was that moment? Because every man has a moment where they are hit with the accountability. So what hit you? What hit you and made you say, you know what? This was on me. Let me take responsibility for my actions and just move forward.
It was a time I sat down, and during the process, mine was pretty messy. So I had a lot of time to myself.
Mm-hmm.
But once I sat down and I looked at all the red flags I turned green, I was like, that was on you.
Got you.
That was on you. You were too caught up into the moment. And sometimes people can be in character, but if you're so caught up into the moment and not control of your desires, it can get away from you. So just to answer your question, once I sat down and I couldn't just point the finger that way, a lot of things I did myself because I allowed.
I got you.
I allowed. Yep. So
I get that. Now, when you started not, let's just go back to when you wasn't taking accountability. What was going through your mind then?
Everything she was doing.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Character bashing. I was so caught up into that, I couldn't even start with my healing process because each and every week it was something different.
Got you.
So it's not that I did not want to start with it. It was just human nature, self-preservation. I kind of wanted to defend myself against what was being said.
Yeah.
But then the mature Fred said, no, you know, let life be her lesson and don't respond to any of it. It doesn't mean that people weren't coming to me, showing me things. I was listening to things that was happening on her behalf. So it kind of, in that moment, it prolonged me from my journey with the healing. So I didn't have accountability because I was just too busy looking at what she was doing.
Got you. I understand how that goes, because we can get wrapped up in what was being done versus how we reacted to it. So I understand how, because I went through it myself, so I understand how that can go wrong. And you do you do need time to yourself. That's imperative. I think more men need to start sitting down and just, like, not even just sitting down with anybody or talking to anybody. Start journaling or just start thinking, keeping your mind sharp, because it's like when you sitting up here in the moment, especially in the heat of the moment of a situation, you will get too lost into what somebody else did and not even say, oh, you know what? Damn, that was on me. That was my fault. I should have did this. I should have did that. You know, you go through those motions. So, but I do think time to yourself is necessary, because the last thing you want to do is get into another relationship and then you bring that baggage from the last one.
That part right there.
So I know I can say that because I've done it. I'm guilty of doing that. So yeah, time to yourself is very important. You do not want to jump out of one situation and jump into another one. That is a bad move, guys. And for the young guys out there too, if you're listening, don't do that. Take that time to yourself to get your mind right, because what you want to do is heal from what you went through. Yeah. Don't make nobody else pay for what somebody else did. That's the wrong move.
Yeah, and I agree with you, because all you're going to do at that point is trauma bond.
Yep.
Because you're going to hook up with somebody else who just recently got out of something. So it's going to feel real, but it's not.
Yeah. Yep.
You know, with me, I took 3 years to myself. I just realized I couldn't do what I did when I was younger. You can't party it away.
Yeah.
You can't sex it away.
Yeah.
You can't trip it away. You know, because after you do all of that, guess what? It's still there.
Yeah.
And you still going to go through the process and the journey.
Yep.
So now, only thing you did was at that point in time, you added more to your journey.
Yep.
That you got to forgive yourself for. And that part right there, man, if you watching, don't do that.
Yeah.
Everybody will tell you to do it. Do not do it. Get right. You got to face this thing and get right into it. And the quicker you do that, the quicker you can bounce back. However, even with me taking the 3 years, I would say I was healed, but I wasn't.
Yeah.
Because even today, I still, when you go through this thing, you're not going to know if you're okay unless you get back into it.
Yeah.
And you start dating, and now you start responding to someone else, and they're going to bring stuff to the table. So don't think you totally healed. And it's almost like, remember when that guy in the neighborhood used to do your brakes in his backyard? Yep. Then he'd tell you to take it around the block, you know, you got to step on the brake.
Test it out, yep. If you don't test it out, you're not going to know.
You're not going to know. So a lot of people will, 3 years was long enough for me, right? Okay. Because I didn't want to leave the best part of me in a failed situation.
Got you.
You know, because I always wanted to be a husband. And not only that, I just always wanted companionship, you know. So I said, man, the longer I'm out here, I'm hurting myself. Because the longer you're out here, you kind of lessen the odds of you wanting to share your time and space with anyone. Yeah. You get comfortable. You don't even want to let nobody back in. You know, and it's almost like with me, I was looking for him to say something wrong. Like, what? What'd you say? What? Okay, let me talk to you later.
Right.
Because it sounds like you was about to disturb my peace I've been working on.
You about to trigger part. Me.
And that's wrong.
Yeah. You about to trigger me. Yep.
Yes, man. I was trying to test out these new brakes. You know, I'm like, oh, okay. You're not going to catch me this time. Yep. And that was a bad thing to do. But I knew what it came from. I don't believe in a broken heart. I think people are just highly disappointed.
Yeah. I agree.
Since we're talking about divorce is like a death sentence to your dream and your vision of having a family and a marriage. Mm-hmm. It's like a death sentence. Not saying you can't have it with someone else, but it's a death sentence to your vision you have for that you and that person.
Yeah. Especially if kids was involved. So
yes, yeah. And that takes a lot.
Yeah, I agree. I definitely agree. Now, if you know, you have you ever had any friends that went through it? Any divorces that you know of?
Prior?
Yeah.
Yes, and it was messy.
Okay. Now, when you went through yours, and then a friend of yours went through theirs, how were you able to help them?
In the beginning, I wasn't.
Okay.
Because I was still going through my process.
Got you. So it was like, I'm not going to be of any use to you.
Right. I can only take them so far, but I couldn't take them to the end because I was still in mines.
Right.
You know.
I get it.
But I can just tell them up to thus far what to do. But then even after my friends went through it, I probably would not have had any sound advice for them until now.
Okay.
You know, like after 3-4 years later, because you really have to go through the whole process before you can speak to a person
Right.
about it. You know, I was only halfway through, and I was still discovering things. I think you and I talked about, like, for men, usually men don't get married to get a divorce.
No, we don't plan on it.
We don't plan on it. I've seen them play out on television with friends, and it was messy, and the guy just ended up with nothing or a whole bunch of bills, debt, rebuilding himself, his character. So it's nothing that I ever wanted to go through. So just to get back to what you asked me, I had friends that were going through it, and I seen them making the same mistakes I was making in the beginning. And that I had to tell them, you may not want to do that.
Yeah, yeah. Man, listen. Let me tell you from experience. I'm on my third marriage, and one of my boys, he was just going through his second divorce, and I was trying to like help him through it because I'm like, now I'm in a way better space than what I was from the last two. I've matured a lot and everything, and I've learned a lot since then. So I said, man, look. While you're going through this process, don't do this, don't do that, don't do that. And I promise you, everything I told this man not to do, he did. So I learned you got to let people grow through their process, not just go through it. Yeah. So, yeah, because he'll tell me he did something, and I'm like, bro, what are you not listening? Are you all right? But I realized, okay, he had to do that. He had to do that, so I get it. Now, when you were going through your divorce, especially not even going through your divorce, but through your healing process, what are some of the things you did to try to take your mind off of it?
Wow, I walked a lot.
Okay.
And walking was very peaceful for me, right? Because when you're walking, you're looking out for yourself. You're watching your back. So that took my mind off of what I was going through. Mm-hmm. And it was funny because even when I came home, I was still walking around the house.
Right.
But I did a lot of walking, and then I started getting back into my cooking.
Got you.
And then I started writing, and that helped a lot also. I wrote a lot of things about relationships and what I've discovered about myself. And thus far, I use a lot of material on the platform. So the three things I did was I walked a lot, I stayed to myself, I got back into my physical health and my spiritual health. Then I got back into my gifts. So these things were here before the disappointment of the divorce.
Right.
And I was happy with that prior to meeting the person. So my thing is, let me get back to what I was doing prior to this. It brought me joy. So, and I had to, I think I said earlier, I had to quiet myself and my thoughts. And I know it's a scary thing to do, people, my brothers, but try to spend as much time to yourself, because when you hear thoughts from God, then it's kind of hard to have accountability when you're out with your friends, eating, having drinks, and they're just trying to distract you. Mm-hmm. You cannot have accountability.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, so I had to distance myself from people. And, Shad, I'll come in the studio and I just be so happy to be around people now. Yeah. Because I took a break from people.
Oh my God. And that is, listen, taking a break from people is so necessary because let me tell you something. When I went through my second divorce, my energy was so bold. Like, I don't know, when I think back how I was, I didn't understand how people wanted to still talk to me or be around me. Like, I was really in a very negative state. My attitude was just I was all over the place. Honestly, I was a mess because not only was I going through a divorce, there were kids involved. So it was just like, it was extra like, oh my God, my whole life about to change. So is my life with my kids. So, and I knew that. So it was just like, man, I had to really, I got to a point where I really had shut everything down. Like, I remember back, it was when I was at the plant. I'm at the plant. All of a sudden, I'm not talking to nobody. I'm sitting there, I'm doing my work, but I'm not saying nothing. It got so bad because I used to talk shit and flirt all day with the ladies and all of that. one of the main ones I used to flirt with came up to me like, "You all right?" I'm like, "No, I'm actually going through it." She was like, "I can tell." I'm like, "Yeah, I know. I'm pretty sure you can." But it was necessary because I needed to really like shut everything down and start paying attention not only to my surroundings but to who I was about to turn into.
Absolutely.
So yeah, that is necessary. It hurts, but it's necessary.
Very, very necessary. And you said something. You said you had to stop yourself from becoming what you were about to become.
Mm-hmm.
And I had to do that same thing because I think I said a couple of minutes ago, I got so comfortable with not having people around me. It was scary.
Yeah.
It was not necessarily a bad thing, but it was scary for me because you know how we are with Geminis. I'm like, I'm good, because I can just entertain myself anyway.
Right.
It's always been okay with me. But I knew moving forward, like you just said, I had to stop that because my desire still was to have companionship.
Right.
I just knew that during this process, I had to pay attention so I would not put myself in the same position again. So I knew I couldn't get out there too quick, but then I knew I couldn't stay out too long.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So I always look at where I'm at in life. I'm 58. Well, I'll be 58 in May. And I said, no, we're not doing this.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? We're not doing this to us. I'm talking to myself at that time. You still want to get out here when you're young enough and enjoy someone and someone to enjoy you. God didn't say that you weren't going to go through things in this lifetime.
Yeah.
The only true power we have, and I've recognized this, we're not in control of anything, only how we respond to it.
Right.
Now, if I decide to stay single for the next 7 years, that would have been on me. Right. I could have messed up and missed out on, a beautiful person.
Yeah.
Right. So that was my thing. I do agree with you. If you're out there, man, don't fall into the narrative that we probably usually would as men. We start getting our paper back up. We feeling good about ourselves. We dressing. And then you start running through all these women.
Mm-hmm.
So after the run through, it's still there. And then one day you're going to meet the person you really want to spend time with. And because you didn't take out and put the work in, you're going to mess that up.
Yeah.
You're going to straight mess it up.
You will.
Because run-throughs don't require nothing.
No, they don't. That's all that is fun. Fun and free time. That's it.
They do not require anything, and you do not have time to set up healthy standards and boundaries for yourself. The only thing you do in that process is you set up boundaries for your time. Today's your day and your day. No. And that's all you're doing.
Right.
Doing that process. But it's nothing for your healing process.
Right. You're right. And now what did you discover about yourself while you were going through your healing process?
That I had to get in control of my desires. And what I mean by that is, I always had a desire to be a husband.
Got you.
Right. My mom and dad was separated for years and, still today. So I always looked at my mom and I said, you know what? I said, I want to become the husband she always deserved. And then
that's what's up.
Yeah. And that had me turning red flags green because of my desire of wanting that. Then I said, me and my dad had a good relationship, but I wish he was there more. So I said, I'm going to become the dad that I always deserved. Mm-hmm. So the things I thought I deserved was actually lead me to my disappointments and hurts in life. Because when you desire something so bad, you can desire some chicken wings, right? And you're going to go to the end of the earth till you get to your restaurant, waiting that line for it. And that's what I was doing with relationships and marriage.
Got you.
So I discovered that, Fred, get in control of this, right? Because you're really doing yourself an injustice. So what I did discover is after being to myself for 3 years, I say, you know what? You're a pretty disciplined guy when you want to be. Yeah. So I discovered that I'm really disciplined.
Yeah, that's dope. And discipline, discipline is a must too. So that's very imperative for us. And definitely for us, because if you don't have no discipline, you're not gonna be able to handle anything right. and you're not going to be able to keep anything long term. So
Absolutely.
that's really dope that you discovered that about yourself. I had to sit in jail to discover my discipline. So yeah,
I had the same thing because we talked. Our journey was just alike.
Yeah,
and so you're right. I had to do that too.
Yeah,
You know?
It wasn't no joke. But
That's another show. We probably talk about.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, we can talk about it.
Talk some about transparency there, right?
Yeah, definitely. Now, are you at a stage where you feel as though you will get married again?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. I can see that.
Now, how do you feel about getting married and not having to get paperwork involved?
I think we talked about that before, and I kind of agree with that.
Okay. So you'll do the whole ceremony. We just don't have to have nothing on paper.
Yeah,
That's
probably.
cool.
I would really entertain that part because, at that point, if you're there, you know why you're there.
Right.
If you get what I'm saying.
Yeah, I definitely.
If a person's willing to do that with you, you know why they're there.
Yeah.
Now, I would make sure most definitely she'll be covered if something happened to me, insurance, whatever the case may be.
Yeah.
Sometimes I thought that I know what the words say about marriage, but then it's become a big hustle at the same time.
There you go.
And that's why most men are not wanting to get married because they've seen divorce unfold on national TV, entertainers, friends and family, and the man is always on the losing end of it.
Every time.
So most guys I talk to, they just feel like marriage is a hustle. It's like a come up, because I'm not bashing women because, I won't do that, but some women out here and some men at that case, they may just jump into something to build themselves up. Knowing they're going to exit and what they're going to exit with.
Yeah. Yes, they will.
So I always get back to the question. Yes, I love marriage and stuff. I've always have. Yes, I have been considering it even lately.
Okay.
But yes, most definitely. I said it earlier, folks. Please do not leave the best part of you in a failed situation.
Yeah. That is very necessary.
You get what I'm saying? Like, seriously, why? No.
Now, you have a son now and a daughter. So what are some of the things you would talk to them about as far as marriage is concerned if they were looking to get married?
My son's 12 and my daughter's 24, and I talk to her, and I always tell her, one thing I say is life only has to make sense to you. And a lot of people have this belief like when you marry the whole family. No, that's false.
No. A lot of people think that's true, but yeah.
I tell her all the time, your choice for a mate will be based on the areas maybe you're unhealed or he brings strength to. Mm-hmm. So I said, look at that part. She's young enough right now where I said, whoever you're going to meet, they're going to be building a life just like you're trying to. So don't have delusional expectations. I said, all the things that I do for you because I'm your dad.
Right.
I've been on my job almost 30 years, so I can do a lot of things that this young man cannot do. He still has to establish himself. Mm-hmm. I said, whatever he does, it's not going to be what I do. And I tell her, I said, but it's still going to be good.
Yeah.
I said, it's still going to be good. So I tell my daughter that, and I tell her not to turn red flags green. I said, you want to have a family one day? She said, yes. I said, time ticks different for a woman than a man.
Right.
So I said, life is about experiences, but never be a person's experience.
That's real. That's real.
For a woman, you don't want to stay there that long.
Yeah.
You may have your season when you're having fun, but if you want to start a family, I tell her, I said, don't stay somewhere too long because you can't get time back.
Yeah.
So know what you're doing while you're doing it. So I do tell her that, and I said, trust yourself, and before anybody else. I tell her most people, relationships fail because they don't even trust themselves. They don't have discipline, right? So if they can't even trust themselves, they're going to have trust issues with another person.
Yeah, they're going to always have trust issues.
You get what I'm saying? If you can't trust you,
yeah,
can't trust. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
You can't even trust the person in front of you. You don't even trust your own thoughts and actions.
And at that rate, you don't have no business getting into no relationship, to be honest with you. Like, if you don't trust yourself, get to a point where you can, at least to some extent.
To some extent.
Like, that is nuts to try to put all of this on somebody else that you don't even have within you.
That part
So,
right there.
yeah, I definitely agree with you on that. Now, if you said you are interested in getting married again, what are some of the things that you learned from your previous marriage that you're gonna like curve in the next one?
I would tell myself, or I'll tell another person what I've learned, is never be afraid of breaking the marriage. Because if you don't stand strong on your standards and boundaries, it's going to break anyway.
Absolutely.
So, in the past I had, I want to mess things up. I may hurt her feelings, so I'm not going to say anything. No. Because that very thing was the one thing that ended up breaking it anyway.
Yeah.
So I would tell, what I've learned, or I would tell anyone else, is stand strong on your standards and boundaries. If they're healthy, it's nothing wrong with it.
Yeah.
So that's when, in the next one, that's what I would do. I wouldn't do it in an aggressive way, but I'd be like, no, we're not doing that.
Yeah.
I'm not doing that. You know what I'm saying?
So your goal is to be more vocal, basically.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I agree with that. I've made that mistake before, not being vocal enough. Then I was a little too vocal and didn't show enough action. So you got to have a balance, that's for sure. So, yeah, I agree with you, though, bro. You definitely got to stand on your standards. And whatever you don't like, you need to speak up on it. You're not going to be able to, to change everything. It's just some stuff this is going to be a deal breaker for me if you don't change it. Like, yeah, you got to put that out there.
And I love you that you said that. Because at times I wasn't, and I just think about like some of the old school guys. They would put their foot down. Yeah. Like, look, okay, I'm gonna take. You come in this house one more time at 2:00. You be coming. I won't be here, and you have to let them know that part.
Yeah. Because
your forgiveness gives them permission to continue doing this, and that's why I said standing on standards and stop being quiet about it.
That's it.
Stand on that. Be like, oh. Okay, well, it's 1:30, still not here. It's 5 minutes to 2. Let me get my... I ain't going nowhere. Let me change these locks. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
And you have to stand on that. And I'm glad you say that. Be more vocal. And it's times you don't have to.
Yeah.
The look can do it all. But in other times, man, be a little bit more vocal, not violent.
Yeah.
Not over-aggressive, just like we not doing this. Okay, and that's it, and mean it and walk away. It doesn't take an hour conversation for anybody to get what's not going to happen anymore.
Right.
You're wasting your time at that point.
Exactly. You are. Now you said you took time away. You took time to yourself for 3 years. Now, when you started dating again, how was it? How was the process when you decided to be vocal with women about your dislikes?
They didn't like it. Because I had to tell a couple, like, this is not working for me. And I had one person was like, I see we just want two different things out of life. I said, yeah, I'm taking my time and you want to rush. Right? And I left it at that. I still got a phone call 2 weeks later. Hey, what you doing?
Right.
He's probably watching the show now. Anyway, that part was... What was the question again? Because I was about to go. No,
I was just saying the process of like being more vocal as you started dating again.
Oh, okay. They didn't like it at all, and I'm attracted to beautiful women, so they just figured that was enough to bring to the table. And I dare you say no. I dare you say this is not working for me. I dare you say our energy is not matched. I dare you say, do you see all of this? I dare you. They had a hard time dealing with honest rejection. So it's just not for me. I don't have any more time to give away.
Did you real quick, did you notice that at the same time they didn't like the rejection, that it was a turn on for them too?
At the same time. 2 weeks later, I always get that call.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, what you doing?
I'm fiending. Yeah.
That part. So that's why I say, when you ask me that question, vocal is a good thing, and standing strong on your standards and boundaries is actually sexy for the other person.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because they actually don't want to get away with it, and they really don't want to push over.
Right, they don't.
Because they're gonna be like, "Oh, he was fine, this, that, but he's just soft like this." So, being vocal was healing to my soul. And I would get in the car, or I would get off the car. I'd be like, yes. I didn't have to waste her time. I didn't have to waste my time. It wouldn't, you know what I'm saying? So it felt good. Say, Fred, you getting there.
Yeah, that's dope. That is dope, man. I'm glad to hear that. I'm glad to hear that. No, for real, because a lot of I got a lot of homies that sit up here and just kind of take the stuff that they don't like, and it's like, oh, it's not that big deal. I'm like, listen, bro, it is a big deal, because if you keep brushing it off, it's going to turn into a bigger deal that you're not going to be able to handle. So I'm glad that you started standing on your standards and putting out there what you dislike, whether they like it or not. You gave at least, see, and this is what women need to understand. At least a man is being fair enough to say this to you and not just say, you know what? I'm going to deal with you, but I'm going to deal with somebody else behind your back because I don't like you all the way. So let me go ahead and have somebody extra. At least he's being vocal and saying, hey, I don't like this. You think you could work on it? Because nobody's going to change overnight. So if more women to start appreciate that honesty in the man, I think relationships, or just even the talking stage, will be a little bit better than what it is right now. Mm-hmm. Everybody need to stop being delusional. That's the problem. That
part right there. And you know what? Other thing it led to me having better, with all the relationships in my circle, business, family, it led to me having better relationships with them because of speaking that out. We had this thing, we're raised a man, be a gentleman, this, that, and the other, right? Even when you start off and you fall down, brush your knees off, you good, you ain't hurt, right? No, it's okay to say, okay, no, you hurt my feelings, to yourself. Be like, dang, that hurt. I don't want to feel that anymore. So let them know, no, we're not doing that again. Because I didn't like how it felt the last time, how it felt to my spirit, to my soul when you said that, what you did that. And it's okay, my man. My brothers out here, you have to really get to that point. And that's a masculine trait. When you can speak up for time you can never get back. Right. I had somebody tell me, "Oh, you arrogant." I said, "I will be with my time from now on." Yeah, you better be arrogant with your time. Yeah, you have to be, because you can't get it back. You cannot get that back, man. Let your no be a no. Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. I agree. I tell people that all the time. Like, you can get money back no matter how much you lose, but time you can't. You can't do nothing about it. So don't waste it. So I'm with you on that. Now that you're in a better place spiritually, mentally, and everything, how is it now when you're, talking to women and just kind of just being honest with them? Like, has it gotten better? Well, I only have one that I talk to. Okay. And it's good, but still have moments, but I don't let the moments get away. Got you. Okay. I say we were doing business. We were doing something at one point. And I say you miss your opportunity because you should have said something right then. It's always a bad situation when you don't address anything head on. So right now it's working out fine, because even if you have to let a person know about your standards and boundaries 1 or 2 times or 3, they're going to get like, okay, this guy not budging. So either I get to moving or I find a way to deal with and look at what he's telling me to be a good thing from his perspective, because I ain't budging for nobody no more, not like that. Yeah, that's real. You know what I'm saying? Not, man, no. So in present situation, I feel good. That's good. I feel good. I can say no, lay down at night, go to sleep. I ain't losing no sleep. Yeah, that's real. Good. Now, when you when going through the divorce process, was there anything that was like, did you have any signs that something was going to linger throughout the divorce? Yes. We weren't married for that long. So I knew she wanted to divorce me, but she did not want to divorce the income.
Got you. Got you.
And I said she fought harder for the income than she ever did for the marriage. And most people will. I said, we would have been fine if she fought half as. So during the process, what a person wants to leave with, you'll soon discover that's the reason why they were there in the first place.
Yep. Yeah, I agree.
I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Just looking like, but you will discover that. So you never know a person until divorce.
Yeah. Trust me, I know. It's monstrous. Yeah.
So that's why now I take my time. Because the divorce process, what I've learned, can be very long when someone has hidden agenda that truly will be revealed. So during the dating process now, I would take my time because I know what it felt like during that process. So I said, man, during the divorce process, I'm in it and I'm listening. And I said, I wish I would have paid attention to a lot of this in the beginning because she sounds the same. This was her.
Yeah, the whole time.
But, I was wrapped up to how she looked, with how she was dressing and all that. You know how we do.
Yeah.
Sex,
visual.
whatever, So I said, man, I wish I'd have slowed down because I'm like, wow. She never told a lie. She was this all the time. I told myself the lie. And that's what I discovered. I was lying to me.
Yeah. Yeah.
The whole time. So during divorce, that's what I learned.
Yeah, that's dope. Now, what would you say outside of you realizing you had discipline? What would you say is the best thing you gained from the divorce?
Peace. I thought I knew what peace was until I no longer had chaos in my life.
Yeah.
And I thought I knew what peace was, but you never know what peace is until you go into your whole world is chaos.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So that right there.
Yeah. That's what's up. That's real. Because ain't nothing like peace. It's priceless.
Ain't nothing like peace.
It's priceless, man. I love it. I love it. Whenever I get it, I love it, man. I'm telling you.
Yes, look, my brothers, I'm telling you, don't talk to me about peace unless you have chaos in your life. It's like vacations are nothing without work.
Yeah.
What are you vacating from? So you got to have one to appreciate the other.
Yeah.
No one escapes it. My level of chaos I had in my life may not be what you went through, but it's almost necessary when molding a man.
Yes.
Like a diamond,
Yes.
the pressure. That's really what molds a man.
It does.
Really.
It does.
That part. And then you want more for your legacy and your family and your children. So you see that they're not going to go through it. So you end up sharing all this knowledge. The pressure. You have to share that part. But that's what I got out of it. So yeah.
That's dope.
I got that piece.
That's dope. Now, let's stay there with peace for a minute. When you realize what peace felt like, how did you start moving after that?
I was sitting at home by myself and I started crying. And I can say that as a man. I said, you know what? I had to go through all this, and I thought I knew what peace was, but in the past I was just busying myself because I had money. I was buying boats, cars, traveling. But just to have to sit still, just in that moment, I shed some tears. And I said, man, I think my sister Kim, that's my bud. And I said, I didn't realize how good peace felt. I had never experienced it. I thought I had. I just had good times, but I never had peace.
There you go.
So my first time, I said, man, yeah, I did. I shed a couple tears, and then I went on with my evening.
That's what's up. That's what's up, bro. That's dope. That's dope, though. I'm glad to hear that for real, because a lot of men don't even get to that point because they'll jump from one chaotic situation to the next. So to hear that you actually found peace and know what that feels like and can relish in it, that is fire.
Absolutely. I think our engineer it's brought to my attention how I walked in the studio today. See, I have to tell you, but I just brought in my peace. This is where I'm at. It's amazing. I can't even. I know you guys are listening to me, and you probably hear people say it all the time. But when you truly have it and you get it, you don't want to give it up for nobody and nothing ever again.
Yeah, I agree. I totally agree. Now, in your 3 years of rolling solo, you said you traveled, right?
No, I didn't do anything.
You didn't do nothing?
I didn't do the things that distracted me.
Okay, got you. Okay, so you just did regular stuff like go to the gym and stuff like that.
Go to the gym, visit my daughter at college, and because my divorce took a couple years.
Yeah, right.
Then I had all the other legal stuff.
Yeah,
we talked about. It's another show. So it set me still, and I thank God for that. And I didn't even have the desire to.
Got you.
I was still going through the process.
Right.
My dad used to call me every day, son, watch your back. As soon as we got off the phone, he said, just watch your back. So the 3 years, I stayed to myself. I had phone conversations, and we talked about that earlier. I just laughed and let that be what it was. And then I had someone come in my life, and I just told her I was just taking my time. I said, I hope you understand.
Got you.
So that, just to answer your question, I always like to get back to that. I'll spend time with me.
Cool. Ain't nothing wrong with that. Me time is very essential. So I don't blame you one bit, man. I love some me time.
Oh,
that gym, love it.
That part right there too.
Love it, man. It just you feel so good once you get up out of there, man. Like it just, I don't know. I can't really explain it. It's just like you had time to do what you wanted to do, and you did everything you wanted to do while you was in there to keep your body right.
Yep.
It's a different type of feeling, especially when you're dedicated to doing it.
Mm-hmm.
So I love it because when I'm not in the gym, I'm still working out.
Absolutely.
I've done push-ups on the elevator at work. I'll figure I'll do something at home. I got a pull-up bar. So I keep doing it. I wanted to keep it as consistent as I possibly can.
Absolutely.
Because that's how much I love taking care of myself. And as we get older, a lot of men fall off from taking care of themselves due to a divorce, due to a breakup. It's always something woman related. You know what I'm saying?
No, you're absolutely right. And I'm glad that you said that. I don't mean to interrupt you, but like if anybody's watching and they work with me, they know I would roll out my yoga mat. I'm down there doing my push-ups. I'm doing my dips. I'm getting it in. And my thought was, I'm doing this for me. However, I said the next person I'm with, they're going to expect me to come as a man. From A to Z.
Yep.
I said I owe this to myself and that future somebody.
That's dope.
So that kept me in there big time. And I looked, and that was just me. So I'm like you. After I worked out, I felt so good. I was sitting at the gym, and I was at Planet Fitness, and I didn't have to go anywhere. I was sitting at a massage chair and watch TV, relax.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Go turn it on again and get on that water massage. So part of the process was the very, very important was to work out because your body produces dopamines, and that's good for your mental health also. So I like what I was seeing in the mirror. Man, I started getting back into my little fitted T-shirts. I'm like, man, I'll see you. I'll see you.
Yeah.
You know? And that part right there was an important part of the healing process, learning and knowing your true value and your gifts.
Now, how big are you on? Like you do what you do for you. So when it comes down to working out, how important is it for your significant other to be on the same page as you as far as physical fitness?
Very important. Very, very important because I'm expecting the same things out of her. So I will, whatever I'm doing, I always will share. And if you watch my page, I'm always sharing something about health. But if I find something, I say, hey, let's try this. Let's try this smoothie. It's a better way of cooking this. So it's very, very important because I've learned if a person cares about themselves, they have the ability to care about you.
Got you.
So that's very top tier on my list.
Got you.
You have to want to do it, right?
That's cool. That's cool. Now, since you've been on the journey, like how long you been hitting the gym? Like for
Oh my God! Even before this, for the last 20-something years.
Okay, cool. So you've been on that. All right.
I've been on that, yeah.
So how do some women address it when you say something about, hey, you need to, well, not that you need to, but how do you feel about going to the gym with me and all of that? Like before you found the lady that you're with now, how did women take it when you said, hey, I'm really into this and that? Are you down to join?
Deflection. They just try to act like they didn't hear me.
Oh, wow.
Because one, I was talking, and we'd talk on the phone, and she'd be like, hold on 1 second, Fred. Yeah, let me get the meat lovers with extra cheese. And, okay, yep. Now I want another drink. And I'm like, I was just talking about, she didn't hear nothing I said. You couldn't even mute the phone. I said, okay. So, deflection, they had this thing, just basically either you loving me for me, and that's it. And I said, okay, well, love it, leave it.
yeah, pretty much.
You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, they wasn't really with that part.
So how was it finding that one that woman that was like, okay, I'm about to match your energy?
That was amazing, because that's a woman that would be able to support you on your visions in life.
That's dope. Ain't nothing like that, man.
Yeah, if she's willing to follow you and be led on something that's not monetary gain, something about health, and like I'm willing to. And I said, okay, I can see this.
Dope.
Yes,
that's really dope, man. That's really dope, man. Now we about to get up out of here soon, but what would you say to somebody that's just fresh going through a divorce?
Don't listen to friends and family when they tell you you're going to be all right, be strong. You're going to have days when you're not okay, and that's okay, right? But part of the process is not being in denial, having accountability. It will shorten your journey. If you do all the usual things that people are going to suggest to you that they're unhealed themselves, your journey is going to be long, and it may just be years. So I would say take out time to yourself, hear your own thoughts, have accountability of what you did, listen to God. And they'll be there when you get finished, but take the time to yourself in the beginning.
Yeah, that's spot on right there. It really is, because, man, if I could, it's a lot of things that I wish I could go back and change, but it's like, you know what? I needed to go through that to get to where I'm at right now. So it's cool. It happened. It's all right. But, man, this has been a great show, though. I'm glad you. I'm so glad you was able to make it, bro. Like, for real. For real.
Thank you for having me too.
Oh yeah, definitely, man. Like season 4. Like I said, Brittany actually gave me the idea of what direction to go in, and I wanted to stay focused on marriage, whether people are divorced, whether people are thinking about getting divorced, wanting to remarry, whatever. Everything was marriage related. So I was like, you know what? Let me get my guy on here. You know what I mean? And also, that's another thing I want to ask you. What is something that you would say to a person that is looking to get remarried? Because it's a negative connotation for people that have married more than once.
I would tell them, if it's something you desire, go for it. The people who may have something negative to say about it, just think about how many people they ran through in the time that you were married, right? A breakup is a breakup.
Right.
You sharing, you got a soul tie there. You're sharing energy. You're being physical. It feels the same, right? The only other thing is you have to go through a court system to separate. Okay, so I would say don't be embarrassed. And I had to tell myself that. I said, actually, I've been more of a cat man than anybody else around me, because the times I've been married, they done ran through several people, so I was more preserved. Right? So I had to get past that, oh, you've been divorced. So how many breakups have you had, though?
Exactly.
Ma'am.
Exactly. Yeah. While you trying to pass judgment.
Right. Yeah. Right. You just stand in front of the pastor and family and friends, but you did everything I did in the marriage. and your heart felt the same in the end when it did not work out. So what's the difference? So I would say move forward, gentlemen, ladies, and I know we got a few minutes. If it's something you desire, don't listen to society. I think I said earlier, you have to cancel out all the noise from your thoughts, unhealed thoughts, and family and friends. Life only has to make sense to you because God gave you gifts and vision. So if it's something you want to do, don't be embarrassed. Brush your knees off and try again.
There you go.
Hey, look, this watch while you crossing the street this time.
Yep, that's it. Simple as that. Well, Chef, man, I definitely appreciate you, bro. This has been great. I'm glad you was able to join me. And man, listen, this is what it's all about, man. You want to come on here, you want to talk, you want to give your testimony or whatever the case may be. You want to come on here with your significant other, come on. I'm here. Talks with Todd. Next week, we out of here. Indeed.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Talks with Todd.